GTS Distribution has recently posted the order due date for the Liberator Booster EX7 as 3/21/2024. That's a short 2 weeks from today's video upload. If you're a store who hasn't gotten your order in, get to it. The release date for EX7 is currently set as September 17th, 2024, along with the releases of Starter Deck 18 and Starter Deck 19. This leaves, visually speaking, an open window of 6 months before the global release of BT21, where we unify all regions under one format. At this point, I anticipate Special Booster 18.0 to be November 8th, EX8 to be December 20th, and Special Booster 18.5 to be February 14th, 2025. These are just predicted dates at this time, whereas everything else marked in green is a confirmed date. But after a global release, what kind of schedule would I like to see Bandai do? Following the unification of formats, there are 2 lines of thoughts I've discussed with several individuals in regards to how Bandai could be releasing core and side sets moving forward. First, we receive core sets in 4-month increments, meaning in any given year, there are a total of 3 core sets. Likewise, my suggestion is 3 side sets in any given year. In total, this would be 6 sets staggered throughout 12 months. Alternatively, what if we received core sets and side sets in 3-month increments? Having a core set, then immediately the next month a side set, and then having a month play period where the 2 sets are combined. Bottom line, this would mean 4 core sets in a year and 4 side sets in total. To put things into perspective, in Digimon's first year, we had a total of 6 core sets released. If you factor in that Special Booster 1.0 and 1.5 were technically 3 sets combined together. BT4, BT5, BT6, and of course 1 side set of EX1. Additionally, there were a total of 8 starter decks released at this time. Come our second year in 2021, there were a total of 3 core sets, 3 side sets, and 4 starter decks. All coincided with a particular core set, since the support was also included in them. And finally, last year, we saw a total of 4 core sets, 1 side set, 2 starter decks, and a reprint set. Which means, generally speaking, we should see at least 3 to 4 core sets, 1 to 3 side sets, and 2 to 4 starter decks in any given year. This year is an exception for the fact that we are playing catch-up. Personally, I think we should lean more towards the 3 core set and 3 side set rule, and utilize the core set releases as avenues where starter decks would be released in theme. While normally this would conclude my video, there is one additional element to consider. What about reprint cards? I discussed at length with one particular player, collector, judge, and one of my closest friends in the Digimon trading card game, American Bash, and he brought up 3 very relevant points. Number 1. While true, Bandai provides packs with promos. Promos have been one of the hit or miss moments with the card game, especially with how they're released. As I discussed at length in my promo problem video, not only does Bandai have to navigate incentivizing players to buy the product, but they also want to somehow keep the secondary market sellers happy. Number 2. From American Bash's perspective, introducing promos like they did in BT9 were advantageous in that while true, you had 2 chances of getting promos, this created a secondary problem for OCD people like myself. While you could get 2 different promos, one would be holo and one would be not. Meaning for casual players, you now had a cheaper version, and for max rarity players, you had a foil version. But for me, the collector, it gave me double the amount of work. And finally, number 3. In regards to reprints, Resurgence Booster is an example set that greatly helped newer players, whether you'd like to admit it or not, and was not targeted towards existing players. Unfortunately, adding the RB1 cards to it ultimately became the problem for all players, which is why we see certain cards, especially rares, higher than we'd like. Which takes me to the final segment of this video: how should Bandai handle reprints? Initially, when I started scripting this video, I considered doing a reprint set of cards from the next 5 sets after the last reprint set, i.e. cards from BT6 to BT10. Reprint sets would be made available every year and would be designed like a competitive set for players to open packs and battle against each other. If you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh!, think about it like battle packs. However, these are widely viewed as unsuccessful in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. For Digimon, I also don't know how people feel about having sealed draft with a reprint set, where it's like your standard pre-release for a core set. But from another perspective, I could see the following. While true, the 20 LM1 cards did mess with the ratios of BT15, would 10 reprint cards slotted into a side set necessarily be bad? On average, EX sets tend to have 70 to 74 cards, and because of this, side sets have ample opportunity for Bandai to actually slot 10 cards into the set in addition for reprints. Keep in mind, even with 2 cases of side sets, I am typically very close to, if not, duplicate alt arts of every card in the set. Here you could slot those reprint cards that players are always looking for, whether it be promos, or reprints of secret rares like Death Xmon or Shine Greymon Ruin Mode. But ultimately, this video isn't to make you think one way or another, nor is it calling out Bandai for anything in particular, but speculating what Bandai could do for its future releases. Do you want to see 6 total releases a year? Or are you wanting to see the ambitious 8 releases a year excluding starter decks? Let me know your reasoning why, because as I was pulling all the data from previous year's schedule, I found it very interesting. This is DIGI-PANDA, logging out.